Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to this channel. Give this video a like. We appreciate it.
Yep. Check out the podcast also below in the description.
Video brought to you by DraftKings, by the way, promo code HAM.
Big week this week, guys. It's a little thing called Augusta National.
Yep. And American Giant. That's where our hoodies are from. Use the promo code HAM there as well.
Yep. American-Giant.com, promo code HAM. 15% off. No big deal. Thank us later.
It's also a big Jeopardy week, John. Here's what Peter Schrager said about guest host Aaron Rodgers on NFL Network.
I would say this. Jim Brown left the game of football at his absolute peak to go be in Hollywood. Michael Jordan left the NBA to go try baseball. When you're at that level, and Sean and Michael, you guys are at that level. You guys have played professional sports, and you do it for 16 years, and you do something at such... Maybe the thought of a different life or a different career or a different start or a different challenge does become intoxicating. Let's see how these 2 weeks go. He's already filmed them, and let's see what Rodgers thinks after the fact before we just slam the door and say, that's ridiculous. We've seen far more famous players than Aaron Rodgers walk away from the game and try something else, and we have seen other guys do it and also regret the decision in the long run. We'll see. I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world.
I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world, John. That's how Schrager finished that off. What do you think?
It was a bold opinion. Very.
It was
bold
one of my
opinion.
favorite takes ever, and
yeah,
I don't think he just made it up.
I don't think he did either. I think the few people I know that have been diehard Jeopardy people have been the smartest people I've ever been around. It's a smart show because as just morons like myself, I can't last that long. I don't make it once you get past the 100s. I don't know.
It's not fun to
answers.
get like 2 right in 30 minutes.
It's not fun at all. It's why I'm never been a big a crossword puzzle guy. Another thing that without cheating is really difficult for me. But smart people like that because it works this intellectual brain that guys like Aaron Rodgers have. I do believe, like, I don't think this is a joke, him doing this. Like, I think he's a huge fan, clearly. And it's probably not something that's crazy in the back of his mind to go, well, I'm going to live in L.A. probably when it's all said and done. I have a sweet house in Malibu. Why couldn't I do this as a day job? I don't know. What does a job pay? $5, $7, $8 million? Well, I'm Aaron Rodgers. They might pay me 12 to 15, and I do, have a little day job. Keep the money flowing. Keep the revenue sources flowing my way. But right now, I make $35 million. I'm the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, and I just won the most valuable player. I guess Brady is one, but he's a close. Even though Brady's much more accomplished, Brady's one, but I think Rodgers is 1B in the league of just, he's been around so much longer. Mahomes.
Talking about fame.
Yeah, I'm just saying his fame's pretty strong.
Yeah.
In his own way. Like he's kind of low key about it in a weird way, don't you think?
Yeah, but this is another great example of when Aaron says or does, and he goes on McAfee, and then he says what he said. Nothing is guaranteed after the playoff loss and all that. Like, just Aaron Rodgers stuff is a big deal.
Yeah.
So somebody who was deep in the show, who works on the show, I texted and it's like, well, how was Aaron? They said he was really good. They said one of the things you can tell, he's really good with the earbud in his ear, the IFB they call it, because he's always got a coach in his ear, so he's really good like talking while someone's talking to him. Said he
Left,
was really,
right, Razor 7, or
how about this
World War II.
Said he was really coachable. Very coachable. They said they loved him. They said he was really good. They said he said he liked the full-time gig, but he's not quite done with his day job. So, now I don't think he's leaving. I agree with you. I don't. The idea that he would
Does
leave.
Jeopardy
the
pay
Packers,
$35 million?
Maybe they'd pay something closer to that than $5 million for Aaron Rodgers.
Do they have 25 million people watching every game on NBC?
I don't know what their viewership is, but I would love to know by the end what Alec was making, because I bet it was Alex a lot of money. I know. Yeah. This guy also works for Wheel of Fortune. They do very, very well, and they don't work. They don't play. They don't play every week.
They do. Yeah.
Well, you're tape like a couple. Like Aaron's not live this week. These were already taped.
You're saying it's not a 9 to 5, 365 day. You can hit the link sometimes during the week.
Yeah. You can take several weeks off in between taping because they'll do several tapings in a day. So I'm with you. Like I think he would love to host this thing. I don't think he's walking away from the Packers right now to go do it. But I don't think is like. But here's the other part of it. I don't think we can just look at this and go, oh, this is just dumb. What is Schrager talking about? Why? I think we have to ask the question, why is this a discussion right now? Because Schrager just woke up this morning and decided to make it up? I don't think so.
Do you think if you put yourself in his situation and you felt slighted, right? Because the people, let's face it, the head coach and the general manager were not the people that, and you and I have been part of a job where the people that hired us then leave and the new person comes in. Now, I'll give LaFleur and Gutekunst, relative to the person we were around, a much higher grade. Clearly, they're from a higher level. But when they're not your guys, there is a feeling of there's not an owner. Like, unlike Dak, you'd be like, well, Jason Garrett's not there anymore. It's like, well, Jerry's there, right? There's not like this owner there. There's just Gutekunst and LaFleur, and he saw them trade up for a quarterback in the first round. He just naturally is kind of, holds just kind of this edge, pissed off nature. He's always had that. That is kind of like, that was a major FU to him. Like, it's not really arguable. And then he comes back and wins the MVP, and it's like, yeah, I'm not just going to play nice. I'm gonna make it a little uncomfortable for you. You guys attempted to make it uncomfortable for me. And we'll just live in this uncomfortable environment, which he clearly, I think Brady is a lot like this too. They kind of thrive in uncomfortability.
Yeah, it also doesn't make it easier for Jordan Love, right?
No. I mean, can you imagine Jordan Love? Like, oh my God. I didn't ask. Can you guys trade me to like the Cardinals or, Sean Payton? Can you guys give me a soft, Falcons, a soft landing spot here?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
But there's a difference though, is Aaron being nice to him, which, who knows, and just all this stuff. Like, the thing with Favre is he was old. It was kind of going the other way. Aaron Rodgers in the peak of his MVP, like Gutekunst and LaFleur, they have no choice. Like, there is no, you could not, trading Aaron Rodgers right now is career suicide, right? Like, that's just not an option for the Packers.
No, not given how well he just played.
And how big of a question mark the quarterback is, right? If you told me like they're all in on this guy, he was a backup quarterback, they think he's the next Mahomes, I'd be like, that's risky, but this guy couldn't beat out Tim Boyle, who they basically rigged. They just let Tim Boyle walk in restricted free agency, like they didn't place a tag on him, like a second-round tender. They basically just set it up for Jordan Love to be the backup quarterback. That's going to be a story we're going to keep an eye on all season long, because clearly, where would Rodgers even get traded to? Like, you would say the Rams would have been very interested. They don't have any picks, and they've got Stafford.
Yeah, some three-teamer with Seattle.
Yeah, would he want to go to Seattle, though? I think he'd want to go to the Niners, but
where would he
to me,
okay, well, you're asking where he wants to go.
I think the Packers, there's just zero possibility they could trade him to the Niners, right? That just wouldn't even be an option.
Yeah, well, the other thing, I mean, to finish that thought, Green Bay, would you send him to Green Bay, watch him win a Super Bowl? No.
Send who?
Aaron.
To Green Bay?
I'm sorry, Green Bay. New England. Would you send him to New England and watch him win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, but do you think he'd want to go to New England?
But what are we asking here? Who could trade for him, or who does he want to play for?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his end game is, because he does seem like he's open to kind of taking off, doesn't it?
Does he want to go to Chicago? That's a worse situation.
No, but they couldn't do that in the division. You're right. Like, would he trade him to New England? Why wouldn't New England give pick 15 and like 3 more once, right?
I mean,
that'd be pretty explosive.
Look, you wouldn't trade him to Miami for Tua. You wouldn't trade. There's just not that many places.
Well, you just drafted a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So you couldn't do that. I mean, the thing with Aaron turned out to be Aaron freaking Rodgers, and he sat 3 years behind Brett Favre.
Times were different.
I mean, times aren't different if Jordan Love's not ready to play.
No, but I'm saying times are different. Like, that would rarely happen, and then he just turned into one of the greatest quarterbacks. It is an all-time outlier just situation. Wouldn't you agree? It's different, but it's got like Steve Young, I'd say, and Aaron Rodgers. Their path to stardom don't parallel like Montana. Even Brady started basically by year 2. He was a starter once Bledsoe got hurt. Manning's, the Roethlisbergers, the Elways, the Marinos. Most of these guys hit the ground running.
Yeah, because most of them have the chance to. But it turned out like Brett Favre, year 3, I was like, we're done with Brett. They went 13-3.
I was bold.
But I'm just saying, like, most guys don't get drafted to teams with Hall of Fame quarterbacks still playing good football. So that's what Aaron Rodgers is. I don't. if they didn't have Jordan Love, you couldn't trade him. Unless my point is, even if they think Jordan Love is the next Aaron Rodgers, unless he's the next Aaron Rodgers this year, or unless you think you can't win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know how you could think that, because I thought they were better this year than they were last year, the year before that.
I mean, they hosted the NFC Championship game. They're pretty good. Like, to me, it's just, this is one of those things you just got to let them vent and let it deal with it and just keep playing it out.
Yeah,
it's
you're
not
right.
like
It's all you can do. This is the situation you created, so you have to deal with some of it.
Like him and Russell are comparable as like, Brady, him and Russell are like the three older guys that are the elite guys. But even Rodgers and Russell Wilson don't have that much in common. Russell's never even got an MVP vote. Rodgers won 3. Rodgers carried them to a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And just carried them in all their, like every time the Niners were kicking their ass in the playoffs, like the reason they were there a lot was Aaron, right? I mean, it's just like in NFC Championship games, right? So it's just, he's a much better player. And I think Russell's a Hall of Famer, but I think Aaron Rodgers is like on a higher level of Hall of Fame. Like, right? It's like Aaron Rodgers would be sitting there, like if you put him I know he's not as accomplished, but like he could just hang out there with the top 3 or 4 guys, right? If you just said like, oh, he's eating dinner with Montana, Marino, Elway, and Brady's at the head of the table, be like, oh yeah, he belongs
They
there.
all belong.
Yeah. Russell, like to me, Russell Wilson's more like, oh, he's hanging out with like Drew Brees and like Roethlisberger in the back corner. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a cool table too.
But keeps looking over at that table.
Yeah.
I think this is just a reminder.
Steve Young go back and forth.
Yeah, Steve is welcome. I think it's just a reminder that it will end one day because it always does. We saw what just happened when it ended with Brady in New England. And it's these guys, I do think since they drafted Jordan Love, the Packers have handled it well, at least externally. I don't know what it's like in the building, but externally they've handled it well. That'll be one of their big tests is how do they handle this transition? Because there's going to be a transition. And if Jordan, the question is, I think the question is just, is Jordan Love good enough that they make this transition while Aaron Rodgers still has good football left?
Yeah, to me it turns out Brady was the outlier for all the old guys, right? It's like, oh, Brady's going to play until he's 40. It's like, the last 2 years didn't go well, then he retired. Roethlisberger's going to keep on. No, he's done. Manning, his arm was shot, right? I mean, Brady is the outlier of outliers, even for the old guys. Rivers got one more. He retired. He was shot. Like that 38, 39, 40-year mark, to me, is still the mark. And I'd say Rodgers, like, is he going to be Brady? He might, but that's where I understand where the Packers were like, we got to be in position. This guy's going to be 38, and then all of a sudden in 2 years, he's going to be 40. Now, if he keeps rattling off MVPs, the thing that Brady did is like he won Super Bowls. Like he was winning Super Bowls at like 40 and 41. It's like, oh yeah, Jimmy's got to go. Yeah, and Jimmy was obviously way better than Jordan Love, but Brady won Super Bowls. Now Rodgers, you win MVPs in NFC Championship games. That's probably at the same level of like, you can't get rid of him, right? Now you're a first round on the road and bounce, and like the season wasn't quite as good. Then maybe it gets a little dicier, right?
Yeah.
But you host NFC Championship games, you win MVPs. Are you just a made man in the football mob with your team? Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Again, it's totally dependent on there reaches a point where they go, even though he still might have another good year somewhere else, we got to move to our other guy to set up the next 10 years. And is Jordan Love going to be that guy or not?
I think the elephant in the room is like, does he sign another contract with the Packers, or is it like coming down the home stretch?
Well, that's why, that's part of this whole season, right? This whole offseason, right? It's like, what is going on here?
Because remember, Brady worked with the Crafts and like basically just said, one more year, we'll give you some money up front, and then you can do whatever you want. That's where I get back to the Packers with no owner. It's kind of a weird situation. Like, there's no one to just step in like, I don't care about Jordan Love. This is our guy. He's the greatest quarterback in the history of our franchise. He's going to retire a Packer. That guy doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah. But I've got a certificate that says I own some of the team right here, John. I bought it for my birthday.
How much you pay?
37 cents. No, I don't know. I think they're like $80 or something for a certificate or something like that.
Oh, that's it?
I don't know. Some Packer fan can tell us, but